Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we are going to be talking about two cards that are going to be coming out to us in the TCG in Maximum Crisis, which will be coming out in May of 2017. Now these two cards are pretty much spellcaster support, but you really have to keep in mind, geez, my throat. You have to keep in mind that these can be used in any spellcaster archetype or deck. So if you're running a spellcaster dot deck, you can run this. If you're running Magician, Dark Magician, Magician Girls, Gravekeepers even can use these cards, because they're all spellcasters. And spellbooks can use these cards as well. So those archetypes that are spellcasters can use these cards. So without further ado, let's get started. We first have Magician's Left Hand. The left hand is not as strong as the right hand, apparently. This card is very good though, nevertheless. It's a continuous spell card that states, once per turn, when a trap effect activated by your opponent resolves, where you control a spellcaster monster, negate the effect, and if you do, destroy it. So if you're playing against a trap heavy deck, this card will be very good. I don't think it's as powerful as the next card, which we're going to be talking about, which is the Right Hand, but it's a good card nonetheless. It just depends upon your matchups. I think this one could be used as a side deck tech if you're playing a spellcaster type of deck and you go into a tournament and then you run into that guy that has, 20, 30 traps. Maybe you run into Paleozoic Frogs, something like that. You could be like, oh, okay, I put this in my main deck now. It could be useful, especially if you're going turn one. So if you're going turn one, normal summon a spellcaster, activate this. It's very powerful. Now, you can't negate all their traps, but they're going to have to think about what traps they activate, and that's going to help you against that matchup overall. But it's a good card nonetheless. I think it's a very good card. The fact that it's not, I think the only way that you can search these spell cards as of right now that I'm doing this video, there's no way to really search them, is you can search them through Watchdog, which we'll talk about later at the end of this video. So next up we have Magician's Right Hand, which is a very good card. Magician's Right Hand it is, and it's a continuous spell card that states, once per turn when a spellcaster effect activated by your opponent resolves, while you control a spellcaster type monster, negate the effect, and if you do, destroy it. First off, I want to say about this card is, if that's Dark Magician's hand, Dark Magician has to do something about those nails, man. Look at that picture. Look how long his nails are. It looks so weird looking. More looks like a Vindictive Witch's hand than Dark Magician's hand, but beside the point. So this card's very good. It's sort of like Secret Village of the Spellcasters 2.0, somewhat. The reason for that is because this card pretty much states that if you have a spellcaster on the board, you get to negate one of their spell cards that they activate, which is nice. The same thing goes with Magician's Secret Village of the Spellcasters. However, Secret Village of the Spellcasters has always been a dual sword. It's very good, but it can be very powerful against you and your strategy in general if they get rid of your spellcaster monster. So that's the downside of that card. This card does not have that downside. The only downside and the difference between this Secret Village and this card is the fact that you can only negate once per turn, which is nice. So it's a good card overall. I think it's very good. However, there's a downside to both of these cards, as I kind of alluded to earlier. They both can't be really searched out as of right now. I don't think any spellcaster deck, I'm thinking of any Dark Magician card that can search out. No, there's not really any I can think of that can efficiently search this card out, except one old card that nobody talks about, and I don't think you would run it in the deck just to run these cards, and that's a card called Watchdog, which I'll try to put up on the screen for you very quickly. It pretty much searches continuous spells. People were thinking back in the day to run this with Tanky, so you could search out your Tanky. So the cards are good. However, the problem with these two cards is they're non-searchable. So if you top deck these cards, you lose. You're not going to win. They're not going to help you. These cards are very helpful if you're going first and you're establishing your board. So if you're making a powerful board and you activate a normal summon a spellcaster monster, activate this, that would be helpful. But if you're going turn 2 and your opponent's already gone off, or you top deck it late in the game, not going to be as effective. So there's a downside and there's upside to it. So I think they're overall very good cards. However, when you think of all the different applications you can use them in a duel, yeah, it's good turn 1, it's probably good turn 2. If your opponent bricked and couldn't go off, yeah, it'll still be good then. So you have to think of all these different applications in a normal duel setting. So I think they're very good, but I also think they have a downside because they're non-searchable. As far as I know, off the top of my head, there's no card that searches these besides Watchdog. Off the top of my head, I believe that's the name of the card. And if I'm wrong, that Watchdog does not search these, I apologize, but I remember that card just randomly in the middle of this video for some reason. But yeah, tell me what you guys think about these cards. Until next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and overall, just kind of happy for some Magician Spellcaster support. Take care, everybody. Till next time.